wide contribution of help from a really great group of people.
Now, it's essentially a collection of online businesses. I mean, was it important to get in early before everybody started moving into online? I mean, was timing beneficial?
We were actually relatively late in terms of the online, I guess, the e-commerce game. Amazon were 90s as the biggest player, and then looking more closer in Australia. We're actually not the largest Australian e-commerce group, although we're probably one of the largest wholly Australian-owned groups. Certainly the Catch Group would be Australia's largest. AussieCommerce would also be very large. They both got overseas owners, admittedly, and Kogan would be larger than us as well. Kogan are completely Australian-owned, but all those guys came probably 4 or 5 years ahead of us.
Yeah.
Catch, I think, were about 07, AussieCommerce a couple of years later, Kogan a couple of years later. So they had a really good start on us, and as a result, they've got revenues probably of 200 million plus. But so we were a little bit late to the game, but we're forecasting 100 million for the next financial year. If all goes well, and we're so far on track for that. It's just a matter of us just maintaining a really disciplined cost base and ensuring that whilst revenue growth is great, ultimately it's return on equity that's the key metric we're looking at.
How did it come about? I mean, you're co-CEO with a friend of yours from school days. Was being an entrepreneur something that you'd always wanted to do? Because you're actually, people might not know, but a trained, rather well-known financial journalist.
Yeah, probably not specifically. I think we started back in 04, 05, and we started an accommodation business, and we still have that. It's called Living Corporate Apartments, so largely catering to the corporate accommodation market in Melbourne. So we started doing that, and then sort of about 07, 08, we just wanted something a bit more scalable, and it seemed like sort of the internet was the best way to do it without a great deal of capital. So we looked at doing a few different businesses and looked at doing some sort of restaurant, food ordering type businesses, and stumbled across the Groupon model, and it sort of flowed from there. And we've sort of got the different businesses that have evolved from that.
Was it a difficult decision to give away the full-time job, the regular salary, the security, to take a bit of a leap of faith?
That's a good question. At the time, I actually took a leave of absence for 6 months, and Freehills were really good enough to let me have that. So I definitely had that safety net. So whilst there was a degree of risk involved, it was relatively minimal. After about 3 months of leave of absence, the original business was going reasonably well, and I told the guys that I probably wasn't going to come back. I don't think they were overly disappointed. I don't think I was ever going to be a fantastic jurist. So it was probably a good result for us, and I don't think Freehills were overly devastated.
Now, there's a number of online businesses that come under, if you like, the umbrella of the holding company. How do you choose what business and what sort of markets, if you like, to look at, to invest in?
That's a good question. 3 of the businesses are largely similar, be it Deals or Ufakudo. Then we just separate the other businesses. So there's the Home and Pop. The Home's a homeware site, which is largely based on a business called One Kings Lane out of the US, and it provides luxury brand name homewares, everything from Wedgwood to Stanley & Rogers to all sorts of great brands, to Kaz, at fantastic prices, substantially less than what you'd see in the likes of David Jones or Myer. So every day there's new sales there. So we sort of stumbled across that after we were able to pick that up. We've actually bought the business, and it's really well run by Lexi Mills, our CEO, and Stacey Extremes, the head buyer, who are both brilliant and really leaders in the field. And we've got a business called Pop, which is run by Zoe Bristow, which is really a cutting-edge design site that we'd started ourselves, and we brought in some extra resources as well. And then we've got Luxury Escapes, which is a travel-based site, which we sort of just pivoted across because we found we had a real niche in travel and wanted to really give it its own vertical. There's a Luxury Magazine, so we have separate content there. We sponsor the Getaway program, and Katrina Roundtree is an ambassador for the site. So it's a really dedicated travel site that can offer some fantastic deals and a really good range. It's a licensed travel agent, so we can sell flights and cruises and tours as well as land-based stays.
Where's the next opportunity? Where do you see how are you going to continue to grow outside of the current businesses that you have?
We tend to be more incremental. Certainly there's growth in the travel space. We certainly want to take the model overseas and dabble a bit there and just see how it goes. Australian businesses, as you know, James, haven't had a great record overseas, so we're very cautious of expanding too much and just using too much capital there. But do baby steps and just see how we go. And the other opportunity we're really looking at is a new site we're launching next month called the Gourmet, which is a pivot of our current meat merchant site, which will offer gourmet meat. So this is the kind of meat that you go when you go to a five-star hotel, chef's hat restaurant, that kind of quality of meat and fish and vegetables and other gourmet produce that we'll have on the site that people are able to buy and get home delivered next day by courier in a vacuum-packed freezer box. So it's a really good service. We bought that from Kudo and it's run by Maria, who's a fantastic operator, and it's hopefully a business we can really expand.
Adam Schrobb a little bit earlier today. Now, Apple is reducing its orders for the iPhone 5C, according to a source, which could raise concerns about demand for the cheaper model. But on the bright side, that could mean the 5C is not cannibalising sales of the premium 5S.
Apple is cutting orders at its assemblers for its cheaper iPhone 5C, heightening concerns about demand. A source tells Reuters Apple has lowered Pegatron's 5C orders by less than 20%. And the Wall Street Journal reports that Honhai Precision Industries orders have been cut by a third. Apple has been criticized for charging too much for the 5C, which was seen as a mainstream phone aimed at taking on cheaper competition. In the U.S., the 5C costs just $100 less than the premium 5S. A senior fund manager at Prudential Financial, Bevan Ye, said Apple erred with its pricing strategy. The price differentiation between 5C and 5S is too small. It's an iPhone 5 with plastic casing and isn't worth the price. A survey by Consumer Intelligence Research Partners found that the 5S is outselling the 5C in the U.S. by more than 2 to 1, according to All Things Digital. But